hustlers, and you. What's going on, everybody? Pimps, players, hustlers, and preachers out there. This is Mr. Rasan Bakari Lewis, but you already know me. I am here this evening to introduce the world to Miss Carla Anderson. So, Miss Carla, tell us your story. Where are you from?
San Francisco. You are too funny. You are too
Oh,
funny.
the projects, right?
No,
What part of San Francisco are you from, young lady?
the Western edition.
Okay, all right, all right. Now, I understand that you have a production business. Would you be so kind as to tell us a little bit about that?
All right. My name is Carla, and I am the creative director at Missy Productions Media Service and more. Um, yeah, I provide media services to a lot of the pastors and the preachers all over the world. Yeah, look
Okay.
me up, missyproductions.com.
MissCProductions.com. And I understand that you sell jewelry as well.
Yes, I sell paparazzi jewelry. I've been selling paparazzi jewelry since September. Since September, I started a jewelry business in memory of my late mom. It's
Okay.
called Miss C's Blings. I come on live every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. sharp.
All right. All right. Well, folks, now that we are past all the pleasantries, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Carla. She is a great person. She is one of, if not my only friend. Uh, Talk to her, if not every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week. She does run that production company, as she said, and she is very well connected in the church community for her work. Well, she grew up in church, but she is very well connected. What we're doing today on the anniversary, the first anniversary of her mother's passing, is getting to know Miss Carla, again, what she does for a living, where she's from, who she is, and what she went through as a caretaker for her mom while she was battling a bevy of illnesses. So we touched on Missy Productions. Um, Give me an example of what you might do for a pastor in a church.
Well, I do flyers. I help you set up your live stream. Hold on one second. Hello, everyone that's coming in. Please say hello so that I know that you are on here. Hey, Dee Dee. Hey, Allison. Hey, Teresa. Um, but yeah, so what I normally do, what normally happens is someone will recommend that they call me.
Okay.
And usually, we'll have a conversation on the phone. They'll ask, well, what can you do to help me? I'm having this problem, having that problem. So I offer tech support. Um, Man, a ton of stuff. I can't even think right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't even think right now.
Missy Productions is playing nervous, so
I am very nervous.
I'm gonna
Hey,
bring her
Ron
along a little
Boston.
bit. Uh, for those of you who know a little bit about what she does and are listening to her, I want you to know that she started this pre-pandemic, which is crazy because the churches that she was working with were already kind of ahead of the curve when the pandemic started. Just as I am uh, in a shack somewhere at a location not to be known, and she is where she is. She was doing this prior too. So a pastor could be at home in his study conducting Bible study, or even church for that matter, or pre-recording messages and sermons and the like, and then posting them, and so that the church family, and people abroad can stay connected. And she has really done an outstanding job. Her cousin Rhonda can attest to that. After she did her birthday party, and it turned out turned out exceptionally well, and I know because I was there. Um, so, Miss Carla, why did you start the business?
Oh my gosh. Why did I start or how did I start?
Well, how and then why?
All right. So Hey, Garrett. So what happened was years ago, my mother bought a video camera. Years ago, back in the 90s. It had to be like 96, somewhere around there. She bought a video camera and said, learn how to use it so you could teach me. I'm like, what? She's like, learn how to use it so you could teach me. I'm like, okay. And then after I learned how to use it, she was like, you're going to come and film our youth annual day. I am. So it started back in the 90s with me filming youth annual day. Hey, Pastor Todd Wheelock.
Pastor
Um,
Whitlock, what's going on, brother?
and um, and so after that, I kind of just, I didn't fool with it. Okay, it's mom's camera. We're gonna, use it for the little birthday parties here and filming Bree and David and my pops' birthday parties and just catching people doing stuff around the house. Didn't think nothing of doing, something like this. And then years passed and I began filming little things. So the very first church that I ever offered media to was Victory Baptist Church.
Mhm.
Uh, Pastor Marty Peters. Um, and I filmed his first anniversary as a gift to him. And then after that, people was like, oh, you film? Can you come do this? Can you come do that? I'm like, okay. But I didn't think nothing of it. And then Pastor Greg Hunter reached out to me and asked if I could help with a project when they got their new building. I said, okay, I can do that. And then Bishop Humphrey passed away, and he asked if I could come and film the Bay Area celebration. I'm like, okay, I could do that. And then he asked if I could start filming at Olivet. Now I'm like, okay, and then he was like, okay, what's the name of your business? I was like, I don't have a business. I work a regular 9 to 5 job. I'm not running no business. What are you talking about? He's like, Carla, what's the name of your business? I said, look, Pastor Hunter, you know, I don't have a business name. He's like, well, you need to come up with a business name and do what you need to do. I'm like, nah, I can't. I don't have time. He was like, Carla, what's your business name? So the first business name that I came up with, I really couldn't use for church per se. He was like, no, Carla, you can't use that. Hey, Eileen. He was like, you can't use that. And I was like, well, why not? So, hey, this is our show. So we talking, right? Raw and uncut, right?
Yes, yes,
So the
yes.
name of my business, well, the name that I came up with at first was Dark Girl Productions. And he was like, you can't use that at
Yeah,
church.
that sound like something you do after church.
Right? He said,
In, you know,
and
in
we
the
laughed and
pew.
we laughed. He was like, you cannot use no Dark Girl Productions. He's like, that's cool, but not for church. So then I came up with Miss C Productions. Hey, Pastor Perkins.
I,
Hey,
I
Pastor
want to.
Perkins. Hey,
I want to
Brooklyn.
know who in the hell brought Dark Girl Productions to my church to do anything. I need to speak to the secretary immediately. Praise God. Big
Right.
Perk, what's going on?
So I came up with Miss C Productions. And ever since then, it's just been Miss C Productions. And I just started off with just filming. I didn't know all this stuff that I know now. I just started off filming. I am a self-taught person with everything. And then it turned into doing flyers. And I said, I don't do flyers. But the person who pushed me into doing flyers is Apostle Ross Garrison. He called me one day. He said, I need a flyer. I said, I don't do flyers. He was like, oh, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't. He said, Sister Carla, so it's Apostle Ross Garrison who got me started in doing flyers. And so I'm grateful for that. But
Well,
yeah, so yeah,
we are raw and uncut, right?
yes.
Well, there's a whole lot of pastors out there who you need to do flyers for because I'm tired of them misspelling Bible verses and names of the Bible and Thessalonians. That's somebody's name. It's Thessalonians. Uh, just you're tearing the. I can't come. I'm not gonna come see you preach and you can't spell. Praise God. I don't give a damn. I'm going to hell anyway, so it don't matter. I'm gonna start talking about y'all. Start spelling these words right. Start spelling the books of the Bible right. I'm still looking for Psalmses and all the rest of them because I ain't seen them.
My
Now
God.
do it right. You've been preaching for this long and you still can't spell. You think I'm gonna let you baptize me? Hell, you might forget I'm in that water. Damn shame.
Hey,
Damn.
hey, hey, watch it now. Watch it.
Mm. Perk, no, he watching. He know them people can't spell. You know they can't. You want me to let you do my grandmama funeral and you can't even spell.
Help me, God.
Praise the Lord. Anyway.
Y'all help my best friend, please, Lord. Y'all pray for my best friend.
Anyway, hey, it needed to be said. If I didn't say it here, I was gonna say it on Facebook. So I just, I'm the same jackass live that I am on Facebook. So
you are funny. You are funny.
Praise the Lord. Well, thank you to Apostle Ross Garrison for getting that out of you because you do such a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
And I know because I usually see the rough drafts and they look outstanding.
Thank you.
You do an outstanding job, and I want you to keep doing it. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are watching and have not yet got in contact with Miss Carla in regards to Miss C Productions, please do so. Please do so. You hear nothing but great things about it. Everybody knows her. If you don't remember Miss C Productions, just remember Black Girl Productions.
Dark girl.
Yeah, Black Girl, Dark Girl.
Get it right.
Same thing. Ain't no place for that in the church. No place for it at all. You mentioned having another job. So what did you do, or what do you do, or what is your background as far as employment is concerned? What was your main job before you started Miss C Productions? What did you do?
I worked for a long-term care pharmacy for 26 years. 26 years.
Pharmacy tech, correct?
Certified pharmacy tech.
Excuse me, certified pharmacy tech. So you filled a lot of prescriptions, huh?
Well, I didn't do the prescription part.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to be on my feet like that. But I ran the billing office. I was the medical record specialist, and I did feel when I felt like standing. Yeah, 26 years.
Okay. So I know that you didn't just get started in churches with Miss C Productions. Where did you start in church? Like, what's your home church? From the beginning, like not now, but what church did you grow up in?
Oh, I grew up in First Friendship Institutional Baptist Church in San Francisco under the late and great Dr. E.L. Evans.
Okay. All right. Is that church still up and operating now today?
Yes.
Okay. Love that answer. Thank you. We'll come back to that. Yes, we will touch on that in just a moment. I heard, and I don't want to misspeak, but I heard that you have a background in the funeral business.
Correct.
Tell us about that.
Correct. So my mom's late husband passed right here in this house, same house that my mom passed in, and Mr. Von Nixon came to pick up my mom, came to pick up my pops when he passed away, and he asked me to help him, take him outside. And I was like, okay, this is cool. That was December. That January, I started working. January of 1996, I started working with Mr. Von Nixon, doing house removals, working funerals, painting fingernails, washing hair,
Yeah.
in 1996. So it ended up being like my side hustle.
Okay.
So I would work my regular job, get off from my regular job, and go work at the funeral home on the weekends because I loved doing that. I used to be scared of dead people. But my mom always taught me a dead person gonna make you hurt yourself, and she's right. Gotta be scared of the living ones, not the dead ones. The dead ones can't hurt you.
Right, right, right. What other funeral homes did you work for?
Oh goodness. I worked for California Funeral Services, and I worked for Witted, and I worked for Baker when it was owned by Mr. Gosh, I can't think of his name right now.
Mr. Gregory Atkins.
Yeah, Mr. Atkins hired me. Mr. Atkins hired me.
Jeez, Carla,
So
I can't even believe you don't remember my name. I mean, I paid you, you know?
yeah.
I didn't even let you turn the lights on. Let me leave
So
Mr. Atkins alone. That's my guy.
I
I
worked
love Bob.
there until 2018. I remember it was June of 2018. Remember when I walked off that funeral, I couldn't do it no more. That was it.
That wasn't the one where the Reverend was sweating and going through
No,
withdrawals at the casket.
no,
All
no.
right. Just wanted to just wanted to make sure. So little side story to that for those watching. Carla and I worked together and we did a service. I'm not saying the names, but this gentleman who was the eulogist, he was a preacher, talked about how he had been on drugs prior to, and that he found the Lord and got his life straight. And it was absolutely believable. But during the parting view, he's standing at the head of the casket, and the brother start sweating. It wasn't a sweat like it was hot outside and there wasn't air conditioning. It was sweat like somebody had dropped a bag of the good white powder, and he was trying to figure out whether he needed to pick it up or say the Lord's Prayer. And he was struggling, and he pulled out his handkerchief, started wiping his head. I believe he put the handkerchief in there with her. I think she drowned in that casket because that thing was it was soaked. And so every once in a while I'll bring him up to Carla just so we can laugh because everybody needs a good laugh every now and then. But she really was good at what she did. Her and another young lady, Miss Ford, um, got to the point where they didn't even need me anymore, and they would call me in the office or call me in the chapel just to pick up the casket spray. So you see where I rank. Uh, but but that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. When you were in church, did you sing in the choir as well?
Oh yes, I sang in the choir, the junior choir. I was an usher. I was in the sunshine band. You name it. You name it. You name it.
And where are you? Where are you a member of now?
I am at the Church of Restoration under the leadership of Pastor Elliot T. Ivy Sr.
All right. And how do you like that so far?
I love it.
He's a preacher and a teacher.
Preacher, teacher, singer. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna have
Perk
to.
said and harmony. A.L. Perkins.
Yes, the Honorable Reverend Doctor A.L. Perkins. I won't hold the fact that he's a Lakers fan against him, but I love you anyway, Perk. You know I love you, baby. So now let's get to the reason why you stopped working at the pharmacy.
Okay. Well, just a brief history, and I want to say hello to my niece, Kamisha, and Eileen, and everybody, Garrett, and there's a bunch of other people that have come on here. I don't want y'all to think I'm ignoring y'all, but I'm just saying hello. Um, so, um, what was the question again?
So, so you were a pharmacy tech, a certified pharmacy tech
Yes.
for say 26 years.
Yes. Hey,
Oh,
Martina. Hey, Rhonda.
and
Um, okay, I get it. I got you now. I
right,
got it. So I was working at, I won't say the name, but I was at a long-term care pharmacy for a very, very long time.
mm-hmm.
Very long time. And when we when the ownership changed hands, a lot of things changed.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't have a problem with that. I was just like, okay, whatever. But um my mom, when we moved out here to San Francisco in February of 2017, my mother was still mobile. She was still going to church. She was still up and walking. She just couldn't live alone. It was easier for me to go from here and go to work than to travel back and forth and all that type of stuff. But anyway, so um worked there for a long time, and mom took sick, and I said I need to have some time off. I got to take care of my mom. I got to have
Right.
some time off. And they said, "Okay, you can take, a few weeks off," cuz I didn't know
Right. Right.
what was going on. When she was in the hospital, I was still going to work. When she was in the facility, I was still going to work. And then when the facility said, "Hey, you need to make a choice. Um, she either can go to the skilled nursing facility or you can take her home with you." Well, we don't believe in that.
Correct. Right.
We
Right.
don't we don't believe in the nursing home stuff. So I was like, "Well, I'm taking my mom home with me." And brought her home, and they kept saying, "Okay, when you coming back?" I'm still taking care of my mom. Can I get FMLA? They were like, "No, you don't qualify for FMLA because we don't have 50 or more employees here." Okay, that's the law. I get it. But I've been here 26 years. So what you got for me? We can't help you. Okay. All right. Then they came back and said, "Okay, you know what? We'll let you be off for a few weeks and we'll come back to you." So then they got back, the time passed, and they came back to me and said, "So you have to return to work. You need to pick either us or your mom." Okay, I'm picking my mother. You get one mother. After
Right.
20 with 26 years of experience, I can get another job, but I can't get another mother.
Correct. Correct.
So I told them that, and I said it, and they said, "Because if you don't return, we're going to terminate you." I said, "If it's your custom, to terminate somebody who's been here 26 years because they are taking care of their mom, then it is my prayer that none of you will have to make a decision as such." That was my last line. And they terminated me. When they terminated me, I was still doing Missy Productions part time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started doing Missy Productions full time after they terminated me. But when they terminated me, I lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot. I lost everything to care for my mother, but that's all right.
Right.
She gained something. I lost for her gain, and that's okay. I'm
Right.
okay with that.
Now, you touched on how you were doing Misty Productions part time. I want to roll back because I can go there because I know you to when you got sick. And I remember before you got sick, you were talking about doing something production wise.
Hmm.
And you made the comment that, the Lord had been speaking to you, wanting you to do this. And it, you were pushing it off, for lack of a better term, but it was because you had other things you wanted to do and needed to do. And
Right.
then you made the comment that once you got sick, it was like he was like, aha, I got you where I want you. This is what I want you to do. And it may not have been the way you wanted to do it, but it's fallen into place. And now, like you said, you lost a lot, but you've gained. I mean, you are Mrs. International now. You are you you are worldwide. I mean, I hear you when you talk about Atlanta and some of these other places that are calling you and they want you to do stuff. And the beautiful thing is you can do it remotely.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, in that, I want you to keep going. Now, I want you to let folks who don't necessarily know what was wrong with mom and when you noticed something.
Okay. So my mom had dementia. I discovered it in 2012. One day she called me at work. Now I'm running the office by myself, and she was, Carly, you need to get here. I'm like, okay, what's going on? You need to get here. Oh, you need to get here. I said, okay. I told my boss, look, I gotta go. That's when I had the cool bosses. I'm like, look, I gotta go. My mom's calling me, and my job was 7 minutes from her house. So I just hopped in the car, came down here, and when I got here, I walked in the door. She was like, "What you doing here?" I said, "What do you mean? What am I doing? You just called my job during my busiest time at work, the pink sheet time. If y'all close to me, y'all know about the pink sheet time. I, I'm
Man.
doing these pink sheets. I got to get these medical records in this computer, and you call me, and I get down here, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
Hey,
like,
Rhonda, you remember the pink sheet time? Rhonda, you damn sure remember that pink sheet.
And so I was like, okay, okay, whatever. I got to get back to work. So then I would tell her, you know, let me check your mail. Let me go through your mail, make sure your bills get paid on time and everything like that. And so one day I came here, got off work, tired, came here, and I'm like, okay, mom, where are your bills at? She used to keep them in a little clear, like shoebox container that you get at Walgreens, used to cost 99 cents. I'm like, where's your mail? She was like, I don't know. I'm like, Mom, where's your mail? I don't know. And I'm like, this is not funny. Like, where's your mail? I don't know. So I started looking around the room, looking, and something said, look under the bed. I looked under her bed. She had each individual piece of mail rolled up inside of a sock and thrown underneath the bed. And I'm like, something is not right. She doing weird stuff. I said, I'm gonna have a talk with her. I'm gonna have a talk with her doctor. And they need to run some tests on her and see what's going on. So she got diagnosed with having dementia. Sure enough, they stopped her from driving. She threatened to, I'm gonna cut your neck. My daughter was there. When the doctor told her she couldn't drive no more, she was like, I'm gonna slit your neck. I was like, oh my God. My daughter was right
in
there.
the, in the words of Bambi, where they do that at?
Right, right. She was like, you can't do this to me. As she told the doctor, but she looked at me, she was like, I'm gonna cut your neck. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
so so my daughter was right. Bree was right there. She will tell you she's my witness. So I remember telling my family, hey, mom got dementia, and my family's on here, they'll agree. They did not believe me at first when I said my mom had dementia. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. And she was in denial about it as well, but there was just certain things she was doing. One of the main reasons why I came to live with her, because I knew she couldn't live by herself anymore. Once she got diagnosed, because she would one day she left the house. We didn't know where she was at. She had walked to
Right.
Walgreens. She was gone for like 2 hours. Anybody knows my mom, she was on a walker.
Right.
She was on a walker. So she took her walker and walked from here to Walgreens because I don't know. And then one day I called, kept calling, kept calling. It was a Saturday. And I'm like, why isn't she answering? I had the neighbor come over, ring the doorbell. She didn't answer. I said, oh, I'm about to get in my car, drive to San Francisco. Y'all know me. I hate driving to San Francisco midday on a Saturday
I was about
because
to
it's
say
too
that.
much traffic. I
Never
said, I'm
have.
going to call one more time. I called, she answered the phone and she was crying. I said, why haven't you answered the phone? What's going on? She said, she said, I was in the bathtub. Mom, what are you doing in the bathtub? You're not supposed to get in the bathtub by yourself. You're supposed to call me and I'm supposed to come there because I would come and stay here 3 nights a week,
Right.
2, 3 nights a week, and then go back home. And I had my son was in school. So I'm doing all of this but so that's why I said she can't be by herself anymore. I told my kids, we're moving to San Francisco. And they were like, yeah, right. They didn't believe me until they started seeing me bring boxes in the house. They was like, well, she telling the truth. We're really moving. So, yep. So, um, That was in 2012 when she got diagnosed, and they gave her medication. I knew about the medication. It helps to, helps them to live a little bit longer. It helps the brain to, it doesn't, she won't go as fast if she's on this medication. And I tried to learn about dementia and how it works and everything, but yeah.
So for let's be clear, you were your mother's caregiver.
Yes, I was her caregiver.
The sole,
Um,
the
yes,
sole caregiver
the sole caregiver. I
for
had assistance from Kamisha, which is my mom's oldest
right,
granddaughter.
right.
She would come and
Okay.
help me, but I was the sole
Hey, Kamisha.
caregiver.
Now, for somebody watching right now who may have just found out that their mom or dad or somebody that they are responsible for, if you will, is suffering from dementia or anything that is going to require around the clock care, what advice would you give them? Like if I just came back from the hospital and I just found out and I got to take care of my mom or my dad and I'm like, I don't know what to do. What advice can you give me?
Okay. I'll answer that in 1 second. I have a question on here. Dee Dee said, how old was my mom when she was diagnosed? She was 69 years old. She was 69 years old when she was diagnosed with dementia. Okay. All
And
right.
and
So,
also before you answer that question,
okay.
speaking of Dee Dee's question, for those that don't know, Bammy worked in a bank. So she literally used her brain every second of every day. So, not that dementia doesn't attack people who don't use their brain, but you're talking about somebody who used their brain up here at a very high level every day for years. And I mean, she was involved heavily in the church. Bammy was very independent. If she wanted to go somewhere, now she might get back early,
Mhm.
get to Carla's house on Thanksgiving at noon and, and be back home by 3. But she was very high functioning. So it was a quite a tumble when that happened. But yeah, what advice would you give to someone who is jumping into that arena right now?
Uh, to First off, you got to have prayer life. First and foremost. First and foremost, you have to have a prayer life. Second, you got to have some type of covering. Some type of covering that's going to pray for you, pray with you. You got to have a nice um you got to have a circle of friends. Maybe not even a half, maybe not even a full circle, a half circle of friends. Um, you got to have a lot of patience. Got to have a lot of patience. You have to learn whatever medications your family member is on, study those medications, learn those medications for yourself. And I only say that because even before I became a caregiver, the doctor had my mother on a medication that could have done a lot of damage to her. But
Okay.
because that's my field, I know to study the medications, even the medications that y'all taking. Study, learn about the medications that you're taking and learn the side effects.
I know what
But
my medication does for me.
oh God, help them, Lord.
I know what my medication do. My medication helped me. Anyway, mm,
He's stupid.
mm, yeah, helped me good.
Oh my God. But um stay connected with the doctors. Don't let them push you. I had a call the other day from a friend of mine. I'm not going to say her name, but I had a call from a friend of mine. They're trying to put her mom on hospice. And I'm like, no, because with hospice, there's some other stuff that play into that. There's some other things that play into that. So if your family member is in your eyes doing okay, because only you know that family member. The
Right.
doctors, they only know what they see, but if you're around that family member all the time, you know you're a family member because they gave my mother a short time to live a long time ago. But I'm like,
Right.
nah, y'all know what y'all talking about. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. But um, yes, and I remember, and she's on here right now, Sister Murphy, Sister Vanessa Murphy told me something.
Auntie. I love you,
Yes,
Auntie.
I appreciate that the advice that Sister Vanessa Murphy gave me regarding the care of my mom and dealing with the doctors and the nurses and everybody that come by. Um, Another thing you have to really pay attention to is the other family members. And I'm not talking about any of my family members that's watching. I'm not talking about any of you guys.
We'll talk about
Pay
that.
attention to your other family members that try to come in and creep in and come around and say, "Oh, I can help you with this, I can help you with that," because they may have another motive in mind. They may have another motive in mind. So just got to be mindful of that. And then learn about what you are qualified for. Because there are some things we learned about after the fact, towards the end, that my mother was qualified for, but we missed out on it. And I paid a lot of stuff out of pocket because I didn't know.
Right.
But see, now I'm making it my business. Anything, yes. See, Dr. Linda Washington, hospice is designed to shorten life before time. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I had that conversation with somebody the other day. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, but I'm getting old. I forgot my thought. I forgot what I was saying. You don't have to agree with me.
Get
Uh, don't agree with me.
getting over the hill. Over there. You can't do nothing to me. We on computer screens. This technology. I ain't got to lead this mother joke. And for those of y'all wondering where I am, I'm at the Park Lane Motel
You
uh,
lie.
in East Oakland.
You a lie.
Auntie, Auntie, tell him I'm at the Park Lane Motel in East Oakland.
He is a liar. You got. He is a liar.
If
Get
y'all
on
ever
my
been to the
nerve.
Park Lane Motel, hell, it looked like this. So I'm at the Park Lane Motel
You get
in
on my
East
nerve.
Oakland.
You get on my nerve.
Yes,
Can't
sir.
stand you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you touched on.
Okay, okay. So Mr. Ron Boston just helped me out. I was talking about other family members. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Ron Boston. You got to be careful because those family members will try to come in and do some things.
Hmm.
Okay, you just got to watch them. I mean, it's great to get the help, and like I said, I'm not talking about nobody on here, but it's great to get the help. But just be careful. Just really, really be careful of people who claim they're coming to help you
Right.
when actually they're actually coming sometimes to rob the person that's sick.
Right. Of their hats. Um, hey, I'm a host. Them niggas ain't my cousins. So anyway, um, you know,
Woo!
hey, y'all need to come find me. You know what funeral home I work for.
Anyway, so the other thing I was saying too was that I was paying out of pocket for some things that my mother was entitled to. Thank you, Sister Vanjie.
Okay. So what
Yes.
what what type of things? Is it like a program or um is
Well,
it just like supplies or
medical
toiletries?
supplies, medical
Okay.
supplies, medical supplies. I paid a lot. I paid out of pocket for a lot of medical supplies, even though my mother qualified for some free stuff,
Hmm.
ointments. Um, they gave her the diapers for free for y'all. I mean, my mom was bedridden, so she was wearing diapers. So the diapers were free. But in the beginning, I was paying for pads. Those pads cost a lot of money.
Right.
Then they started giving them for free. The gloves, I paid a lot of money for gloves. And y'all know during COVID, you couldn't find gloves. Towards the end of life, they started giving me gloves for free. I would go stand in line forever at Kaiser for medication. Come to find out, they could have been bringing it to the front door all along.
Wow. Wow.
I made sure that her medications were all paid for,
Mhm.
because at one time they were like, "Oh no, you got to pay for this." I'm like, no, I don't. I worked at a pharmacy. All you need to do is get your lazy butt up and go fill out the paperwork. And now it's all electronic. But know about your family members' insurance,
Mhm.
what type of insurance, medical insurance that they have, how it work, all of that. The bed that they provide for you when your parent or family member is on bedridden, make sure you get the best bed. Don't get the bed that's going to, break your back.
Right. Right.
Um, they had brought a Hoyer lift here for my mom, so I could get her out of the bed, be easy to help me get her out of bed. Anybody that knows my mom knows that she was um a thick woman.
Yeah, Mammy was not small.
She wasn't small. So the Hoyer lift they gave me, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? It was the kind where you gotta no, I'm not cranking her up. Y'all gonna give me something where I can push a button.
She's gonna be
So
right next to her pretty soon.
I was like, y'all come pick this thing up and bring me the right one. Don't try to cheat with the insurance. So know your family members' insurance and what they qualify for. You got to stay on them, because other than that, they're gonna take advantage of you. They're gonna take advantage. I'm telling you, they're gonna try to give you the cheapest stuff. Carla, tell them about the lotion you used. Okay, I could tell them about that too. I could tell them about that too. So, but yeah, know about the insurance, know about all of that. Very, very, very important.
Mhm.
Very important. Know about, also, the other important thing is to make sure you do some type of advanced care directive with your family, so
Mhm.
that if something happens and they are not able to um say, speak or whatever regarding their care, it's already on paper, because you won't have somebody coming in saying, "Well, I'm this," and no, you don't want
Right.
to deal with none of that.
Right.
So my mother had everything in order from a long time ago. We took care of that a long time ago. So it wouldn't be no problem. So it'd be smooth for us.
Mhm.
Only thing I had to make sure was that, you know, um, the medication that they gave her was going to be, right. And we wouldn't have to pay or continue to pay out of pocket for that. But yeah, you just gotta do your homework. You just got to do your homework. Um, and then they always try to tell you, oh, use this, use that. Use what works for you.
Right.
Use what works for you. For the family members who have somebody that's bedridden, they have their, you know, regimen of what they think might work. No, I found my own, and I started teaching the nurses. I taught them a few things in caring for my mom as well, but you know, yeah.
One thing I want you to touch on, that I know you struggled with a little bit, and I know Auntie can attest to this, is the caretakers, or the caregivers, I should say, uh, almost turn into caretakers because they don't always get to take care of themselves.
Mhm.
So please, 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 because I saw it. I didn't live it, but I saw it through you. Please, please, please talk about that.
The importance of taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Ooh, it's very important. Um, when I first brought my mom home, she was not cooperative. You know that. She was
When
not
you first
cooperative.
brought her home, yeah, as a up until about December of 2000.
She was not cooperative. We tried to tell her to, we got to turn around and get you in the bed. And she like, no, leave me alone. Don't touch me. And I'm like, okay, all right. So there were times, and I don't even know if my kids know this. I know they watching. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go outside. I'm gonna stand in front of, because we live on a one-way street. We got a
Mhm.
one-way street right here. I said, I'm just gonna go stand in the middle of Turk Street and just let a car run me over. I can't do this no more. This is too much. This is too much. I can't do this. I'm not used to this. My mother was abusive. She was
Right.
kicking my butt at one time.
Right.
So, um, but self-care is very important. At first, I would sit downstairs all day with her
Hmm.
because I felt like I don't want to leave her because she's gonna be mad at me, let me, and I would just sit downstairs all day. I would never go to my room. I would do my laundry, but I wouldn't have time to fold it because I'm sitting downstairs with her from 7 a.m. to about 7 p.m. at night, 8 p.m. at night, just all day, just sitting right downstairs. Her hospital bed was downstairs in the living room. I would sit on the couch all day, every day. And Sister Jackson, who is one of my mom's really good friends, um, at first friendship, she came over one day and she pulled me outside because she was her mother's caregiver until she passed away. But she said, Carla, you got to make time for yourself. And I'm like, she's like, she gonna get mad. Oh well, she'll get over it. She was like, you need to take time to yourself. So what I would do is I started walking every day. And that really helped. I would walk from my house up Fillmore Street up to Jackson and come back. And just to clear my head for an hour was very, very important because it helped me to not be so uptight in dealing with her because I wasn't used to it was the dementia speaking and not my mom. So, um, but yeah, it's very important to take those minutes to yourself, even if it's 15 minutes. I was told, I told Dee Dee, who's watching right now, who was just taking care of her mom out in Boston.
CD.
I said, you got to take 15, even if it's just 15 minutes to yourself, take 15 minutes and woosah. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose it. Like, and you don't want to take nothing out on your family member because you're feeling stressed or whatever. But I think what my saving grace was me being able to um, go to church on Sundays. Kamisha coming, sitting with my mom,
Hmm.
being able to go to church. Y'all know me, I love church. I love God. You don't love God. What's wrong with you? But
For those of you who don't know God, now is the time to learn about Him. Because if you don't, I promise you, you will end up in hell. My wife Robin wrote a book about people who don't follow Jesus. You better follow him. And if you don't believe me, ask Oprah.
and then my other saving grace was being able to go and pre-record harmony during the pandemic. I would go and pre-record with Pastor Perkins every Thursday. And that was my saving grace as well. And doing Missy Productions, little stuff here and there. That was my saving grace right there.
Now,
Um
let's talk about the church, since you mentioned it. Uh, First friendship, correct?
yes.
Um, how many? Well, are there a lot of members that were able to go see her? Meaning, I mean, because if they're up in age, and I know they can't get around, but did the members that are still alive, uh, did they call and check on her?
Yes, there was a few people who did call and check on her. And then there was Sister Jackson, who came to see my mother. Sister Jackson came to see my mother at least once, twice a month.
Okay.
Okay. We had Sister Wilson, who always called. We had Sister Dunkley, who always called. We had Mother Herbert, God rest her soul. She passed right before my mother. She would call. and check on my mom. Now, mind you, Mother Dunkley, she's sick herself. She didn't outlive everybody.
Wow.
But Mother Dunkley would call. Deacon Johnson would call. And that was it.
You didn't mention the pastor.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then Sister Benson would call every now and then and send a card as well. And Sister Bunkum was really good about that too.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I hope I didn't miss anybody else. But um, as far as coming to visit my mother, um, yeah, it was Sister Jackson. We
Okay.
had Deacon Johnson and a reverend. I can't remember his name. He wasn't a member of Friendship, but he kind of helped the pastor of Friendship sometimes. Um, he came and brought my mother communion like early on, like early on, and that was it.
And what about the pastor of First Friendship?
Pastor, he's been here one time to visit at the house.
Since 2017?
Yes.
Hmm.
And I had a conversation with him about that. I told him how I felt. Y'all know me. I told him how I felt, and he said he was going to do better because he worked 2 blocks from here. 2 blocks from where we live. He worked 2 blocks, and he said he would do better. And yeah. So, but my response to him was, okay, I know you work, okay, but your job is to do what? Is to equip the ministry, to equip the saints for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. His response to me was, Carla, y'all ready for this? I only have 7 members. That's what he said to me.
Then it should make it easier for your ass to get around. You got a long neck. I know you can see everybody.
So when I went Bible on him, he said, yeah, I only have 7 members. And I'm like, okay. But he said he was going to do better. He said he was going to do better. And better never happened. Better never happened. And prior to COVID happening, right before COVID was getting ready to happen, I had a lot of because I have a lot of pastor friends. So they were willing to come and give my mom communion once a month. They was going to rotate.
Right.
I was going to cook them some dirty rice, some chicken, some something just for coming. I can't pay y'all. I'm sorry, but I can cook just to come and give my mom communion. And but COVID came, and of course, I couldn't have people running in and out.
I'm glad because on behalf of the Reverend Dr. A.L. Perkins, you are not to cook dirty rice to anybody but the two of us. No, if there was anything good about COVID, that was it. Praise COVID. You will not make dirty rice for anybody else. I defy you. So you didn't hear from him. How many people early on told you that they would be around and then you couldn't throw a rock at them? And is that something that caretakers or caregivers, I should say, should be leery of?
Right. So caregivers, if y'all listening, or up and coming caregivers, or y'all just always remember this, caregiving is a very lonely journey. It's a very lonely journey because people treat you funny, or they make excuses. They make excuses and say, "Oh, I didn't want to bother you." Oh, but the way technology is set up today, it takes 2 seconds to send a text that say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. You need anything?" Nah. Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. It's very, very sad. They disappear. And it is very, very sad. It was a very lonely, frustrating journey for me. But my saving grace was my children
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they stepped up big.
and my church.
Yeah.
And just being able to service the different ministries, that was my saving grace, because there was a few people I just want to you know but yeah.
And I would say for the people who are on the outside looking in, if you've never had to care for anyone, when you have a person who is going through something like that, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone. They are already in a box because they're going through what they're going through, and a lot of times they can't necessarily hear what's going on outside of that box until they step out into the real world. A text message, a phone call, an email, I mean, even if it's just some dumb emoji, can kind of break the monotony and just let them know that somebody out there is thinking about them or has them in mind. So when you and don't say it if you don't mean it. Oh, it's easy to, like, I'm not going to name names, but one day Carla and I went to a church. Brother hadn't seen her in a month of Sundays. I mean, she could have had another kid, been moved to Bangladesh and came back, and I just thought about you. I was getting ready to call you. Nigga, no, you weren't. No, you
Right.
weren't.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Uh, and it's kind of the same thing. And I'm speaking now on a professional level in the funeral business. Don't tell somebody, call me if you need me. Just pick up the phone and call them. They may not need you to go to the store. And I know we get leery of that and say, oh, well, hell, they might need me to make a store run. They might just want you to talk to them about what's going on. Contrary to popular belief, even though they are going through something, sometimes they do find joy in some things, even as they are going on. Like, God forgive me, the man who was staring at Bammy through the window.
Oh my God.
And
Right.
it turned out it was Steve Harvey on Family Feud, but sometimes you can find joy in that stuff. So pick up the phone. I mean, like she said, just send a text message. Beautiful thing about a text message is you can be on the toilet, you can be in a meeting, hell, you can be on a plane, you can be anywhere and just say, hey. That's it. Just, hey, how you doing? I don't expect you to respond. Just letting you know that you're on my mind. But I know it's so cliche-ish to say, yeah, call me if you need me, or I'll be right there. And then they can't throw a rock at you. And I know that you suffered through a lot of that. Um, I
But let me
mean,
say this. There
uh,
was like my cousin Rhonda,
yeah.
she gonna send me something crazy that's gonna have me laughing. That
Mm-hmm.
was She always did that. Reverend Brooklyn Nelson calls me every
Paw
single
Paw.
day. Jaden's Paw calls me every. He called me every single. He calls every single day,
Paw
even if
Paw.
it's for 5 minutes.
Right.
So I'm grateful for that, because, like I said, caregiving is a lonely journey. It's a very lonely journey, very very lonely journey. Y'all just don't know. Y'all just don't know. It's very lonely and frustrating. So if you
So,
have the support, if you have people that are willing to help you, real sincere people that are willing to help you, let them help you. Don't try to do it by yourself, because right now I don't even think I'll ever be able to hold down a regular 9 to 5 job, because my body is so beat up from being a caregiver. My body is beat up. Not to mention, I fell down the stairs and I never healed from that.
right.
I already had injuries from an accident
Right.
back in 2005, and I still cared for her. Um, but my body is so beat up now. I don't know. Most jobs require you got to stand for X amount of time, or you got to sit for. I can't do that. I can't. So
Well, I mean, I mean, I saw you put in hours at Kaiser after working a full day and coming home. I mean, just a zombie.
mhm.
And even that did not compare to what you went through
Mhm.
these last couple of years.
Right.
And in speaking of the last couple of years in a ball, if you will, um, 365 days ago, we said goodbye to Bammy. I remember when I got that text message, I was like, damn, um, shit, I need to get to the city immediately. Immediately. Um, has it been what you thought it would be? And how have you changed in the last 365 days?
Um, you know, to be quite honest, I don't think I've even grieved yet because I've been so busy. I've been, making sure that all these ministries have everything that they need for Sunday. So I haven't even really grieved yet. I
Yeah.
mean, it hits me at times like, wow, my mom's gone. Like, wow, I can't even, you know, wow. It's hard. I'm downstairs right now, and every time I look in the area where her bed was,
Right,
I get sad. I'm in her old room.
right.
That's where my stepfather passed. Her late husband passed in that room. It'd be some strange things happening in this house. And we'd be like, what is that?
It's because you're
Why
going
did the TV just turn off? We ain't got no sleep mode on.
it's because you're
Why
going to
did
San
this just
Francisco.
fall? Like, what's going on? Like this morning. I didn't get a chance to tell you. So this morning, I'm asleep. And I sleep with my window open because I need that air to circulate. My neighbor, she always yells for her kids to wake up in the morning. They don't have alarm clocks. She called a name, and
Old school.
one of them, her name ends with the A. So this morning, I could have sworn I heard my mother saying Carla, and I got up and I looked around and I said some words, because I'm like, that's not her calling me. I'm like, sometimes I think I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm tripping. I'm thinking, I'll be like, huh, what? Oh,
Well,
it's a trip. It's
may,
my
may,
life is like, it's like different, and people don't understand the grieving process.
well,
I've had people say dumb stuff to me.
maybe on the advice of others, you should just get away for a couple of hours or go out and have a drink because when you come back, like, apparently Bammy will be okay. Like she was when she was sick, and they would say, "Hey, why don't you just get away for for a couple of hours? Let's go have some drinks. It'll be all better when you get back." Yeah, let's talk about the dumb stuff for a minute. The dumb shit that you would hear and that they would say. Um,
Um,
since I had to hear it, y'all gonna have to hear it. I'm gonna say what I got to say in a second.
okay. I mean, I've heard, oh, well, get over it. Your mom has lived a long, good, prosperous life. She was sick, so you need to just get over it and live your life. Huh? Get over what? Huh? That was my mom. That was my best friend. Your mom's still here. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard quit weeping and acting like you don't know the Lord. Weeping and acting like I don't know the Lord because I'm sad because my mother passed away. The Bible does say that Jesus wept. That that's Bible. So why can't we? Why can't I be sad? Weeping may endure for a night. So let me have my night. Let me weep right
Right,
now,
right. And it
or
doesn't
let
say
me take you out and get your mind off of it. Take me out. Get my mind off of it. That ain't gonna work. That's not going to work. You can't take me anywhere for me to get my mind off of my mother. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
I went on a few plane rides last year, and I was crying going in the clouds just because I was thinking about my mom. So you want to go somewhere with me. You want to go somewhere with me thinking that's gonna get my mind off my mom. But every time I go up in the dang clouds, I'm crying. Hello. on the plane, crying with a mask on because I'm thinking about my mom when I see the clouds. Like, man, you can't tell me nothing, especially if your mom is still here. You can't say anything.
And some of y'all don't even like y'all damn mama. And I don't give a damn if you get mad because I said it. You know who in the hell I'm talking to. Y'all full of shit. Y'all really are. You got to stop. Everybody doesn't have a great relationship with their parents, their brother, their sister, their grandmother. So if you have lost somebody, just because you lost them doesn't mean that you know what another person is going through. You can empathize and say, well, I might feel this way if that happened to me. But like, I walk out this door, well, when I get back out of Park Lane, um, when I walk out this door, I got a whole ass dad and mom in there. I don't know what that's like. I can empathize, but I can't say I know what it's like because I don't. And you can't either. And if you ain't talked to your daddy in 30 years, or talked to your mama in 50 years, or wanted her dead, or couldn't stand your brother and sister and they died, you don't know what that is like. So stop saying that shit. The other thing, touching on what Carla just said, allow people to grieve. Don't tell them you don't need to cry. Shit, if they want to cry every day for a year or 10 years, that's okay as long as they're still functioning. Now, if they're staying in the bed, not doing anything, not eating, not drinking, and they're deteriorating or declining or failing to thrive, yes, you might want to do something. But if they go to work, they function, they talk to everybody, they eat, they go out, but at night they fall out and cry for an hour, so what? That's okay. Uh, Hell, I told Carla, even before today, on day 365, some days for me it feels like it was yesterday. So I can't imagine what it feels like for her and her children. So just stop. And no, you can't. There's no weed, no pill, no cocaine, no drink that is going to make anyone who has lost their parent or anyone they love that they're close to forget about it for a minute. You want to share a story with them that'll make them laugh, go ahead and do that. But that other shit, you got to stop. Nigga, your dick ain't that good, so she's not gonna forget it because I don't care. You're not gonna make her forget. You're not. So just stop. Just please stop. She didn't say it. I said it. Again, these niggas ain't my cousins. I don't care. Don't care.
Wow.
It's just it. I mean, it is what it is. It just is. I can say again from the outside looking in that I know she would be proud of you for carrying on as you have. And damn, you look like Brie when you looked up, and Junior at the same time, and raising the kids as you have, and little bad butt Jaden. Uh, I want you to continue doing what you are doing, and continue to solidify your name out there in the community. And I suspect that after this is over, now that the cat is out the bag, when I go to funerals, they're going, oh, you know Carla, huh? No, I don't. But no, I commend you for the job that you did and are continuing to do. And I don't know too many other people that could do what you have done and are doing. I'm here for you. I'm going to make sure my phone is turned off as soon as we get up out of here so you can't call me no more.
We ain't leaving yet. Hold on a second.
I didn't say we was leaving yet. I said when we do leave, I'm getting my phone turned off because you can't call me.
That's all right. I know where you live.
I'm at the Park Lane Motel.
No, I know where you live. Don't play. So, but I do want to say this. I do want to say this because, you know, the caregiving role was very, very hard. You know, I'm grateful and I'm saying it publicly. I'm grateful for my niece, Kamisha, who helped me. I'm grateful for my daughter, Bree,
The
She was
baby's
eight
mom.
months. She was 8 months pregnant, still turning my mother over, trying to change her just so I could have extra free time for myself, or I'm out working, doing some video, something, And then June, he was the classmate.
Yes, the
June,
baby's mom and the classmate.
June, baby's mama and the classmate for June. He was right there. He was right there.
The preacher.
As a matter of fact, June was the only one that she liked for a very long time. She did
She
not
had
like me and my daughter
she
because
had sense.
dementia is a very cruel
Right.
and tricky disease.
Mhm.
My mother thought I was a garbage can. My kids will tell you. She thought I was a garbage
Ah,
can. She hated me and she hated my daughter. She hated us. Like the dementia thought I was somebody else. And I'm just gonna share this one of the stories. I may share a couple of more, but one particular one, I was gone all day. Y'all know I love to get my hair braided. When he got my hair braided, was gone. It takes my braider about 5 hours to do my hair. So I got back. It was a Saturday. Came in, and she kept telling June, "Go get your mother." And I was like, "I'm here." She was like, that ain't my daughter." It's like, "It is me, mom. Hi, mom. It's me." She's like, "You ain't my daughter, you black boop." And I was just like, "Okay." So the kids was like, well, just go upstairs and put on a different shirt and go outside and ring the doorbell and come back in. And I said, "Okay." So I went upstairs, changed my shirt, went out, snuck outside, came, rang the doorbell. And they opened the door. And he's like, "Oh," June was like, "Oh, look, it's my mom. My mom's here." I came and I said, "Hey, mom." She was like, "You ain't my daughter. You still that same black bee that was just here." And I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." So
Wasn't nothing wrong with her.
you cannot be in your feelings. One thing I learned, because I would cry.
Yeah.
I would be
Oh,
sad. Like when she didn't know who I was. Oh my God, that was the worst. She used to be like, "Don't you touch me, you black bee." And I'm like, "Mom, it's me, mom. Don't you touch me." One day it took, because I would wake her up, I put her on a schedule. That's another thing. If you are a caregiver, you need to develop a schedule and stick to that. Um, I put her on a schedule. So I wake up every morning, same time, do breakfast, whatever, whatever, whatever. 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, keep her dry, whatever, whatever. So it was 7 a.m. Got her up. I'm like, "Okay, I need to change your diaper. We need to give you your bath." She's like, "Don't touch me. Don't you touch me." Do you know that we did not get her bathed and dressed until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because she was like, "Don't y'all touch me. I'm a beat y'all." Bloop, bloop. It was crazy up in here.
mm, mm, mm.
Crazy up in here. And it got so bad to, I mean, she would punch me. I remember one time trying to give her insulin shot, and the needle went in me. That was like, oh my God. But when the one time she really made me cry was when she slapped me. I could not believe my mother was slapping my face, and I'm trying to clean you up.
What did the five fingers say to the face? Huh? Yeah.
I mean, she tore me. I cried like a baby. Oh my God. I'll never forget that. That really hurt my feelings. And I was like, I can't do this no more. She used to try to climb out of the bed, and one time I had to call 911. Well, I had to call 911, and the 911 operator could hear her in the background going off. So because she was so riled up, the police had to come with the paramedics and stuff for their safety, to keep her under control. So when the police came in, she looked at the police. She said, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Can you call the police?" She was telling the police to call the police. He said, he said, "Ma'am, they're on their way. They're on their way, right? They're on their way right now. They're on their way right now." I mean, there's so many stories. There's so many different things, you know. She used to be like, "Get them niggas out of my house. They stealing. They stealing." And we used to be like, "Oh my God, Mom, we not taking nothing from you." And then she didn't think this was her house. She was like, "Y'all done moved me over to this place and trying to make me seem like I'm crazy or something." I was like, okay. But I mean, oh my God. She thought June was her classmate. She called June her classmate. "Hey, classmate, there's my classmate. There's my classmate. Hey, how you doing,
Mm.
classmate?" Get that baby and his mother out of here.
That's right. The
I'm
baby's
not
mother.
gonna eat anything until that little black bee is gone. I was the big black bee and Bree was the little black bee. We
Y'all
had to
do,
deal with all of that.
y'all
We
do
had
look
to,
alike. I
you
mean,
gotta have thick skin when you deal with somebody with dementia. You gotta have thick skin. And then you also gotta have thick skin when you're dealing with certain family members.
yeah.
And mentioning family members, my sister Teresa is on here, which is my middle sister. Okay. My middle sister Teresa's on here. And I mean, it's no secret. We didn't see eye to eye in the beginning. There was some
Mhm.
things that went on,
Hey, Teresa.
right? But since my mother's passing, you know, there has been a bond and a connection like none other. And I'm grateful for that. And she knows that. We talked, but I just wanted to acknowledge her and say there has been a bond between me and that sister. I don't know if it will work between me and the other sister because there's some things that the other sister has done to me. I've forgiven her too, but I don't know if I will ever be close to her because I can't trust her because she threatened to kill me. I had to get a restraining order. She sent SFPD here several times. She sent APS here several times, making up stories. She, when my mother died, she said I murdered my mother. She called me a killer. She pulled up at the end of the viewing.
Mm-hmm.
She pulled in front of the limo and said, "You murdered my mother." And I remember cousin Loretta pushing me into the limo because I was
Yeah.
like, "That's it. I'm about to,
Yeah.
I'm about to get her." And Loretta, "Get in the car, Carla. Look at me, Carla. Don't look at her. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car." And I'm like, "I'm about to go to jail." Loretta was like, "Get in the car." So then, even after that, you know, you were at the cemetery. I didn't go to the cemetery. She handed my best friend a blank card calling me a murderer. She's called and harassed me, so I have an app on my phone, so you can't call me from a blocked number or unknown number because she's been harassing me since my mother passed. I mean, it's been quiet over the past 8 months,
Yeah.
the Lord, because
Yeah.
I've been praying for her, like, Lord,
Yeah.
please, Lord, she needs to leave me alone, God, for real. Like, God, I'm serious. God, make her leave me alone.
Hey, I got that one text like you did, and I ain't heard from her since.
Right. You know, she's inboxing all the pastors that I know, you know, trying to she's nuts. She even confronted me she came to me and got in my face at the viewing. And
Yeah.
I had to tell her, "Go sit down." She's
Yeah.
like, "I need to know where my mother's buried." I said, look, it's on the obituary." "Well, can we go outside and talk?" "No, we can't go outside and talk. Go sit down." And so when I stood up, I said, "Go and sit your A down, your A word down, right
Mm-hmm.
now." And what did she do? She went and sat down
Yes, I am.
because I had to I had to hire security to be at my mother's viewing, not for me, not because I was scared, not because I'm scared of her. It was for her. The security was for her. It was to protect her. Because if she would have cut up, if they wouldn't have been there, I could see my sister Teresa dragging her one way. I could see Kamisha dragging her one way. I could see Bree getting a hammer out her car,
Yep.
you know,
It'd have
or
been a
out her bag.
it'd have
You
been a
know,
misunderstanding.
June holding the baby. We gonna June, you just hold the baby. Let us do this. Rhonda there. Rhonda would have lost her job. I mean, it just would have been crazy. So
All bad.
I love her from a distance. All the stuff that she did was wrong. You know, I had to forgive her. I had to forgive her because if I want God to forgive me, I got to forgive other people. But hey, we cool. That's go live your life. Cause I'm trying to live mine. Go live your life. But but I'm grateful that that Teresa and I, we have a connection that's stronger now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm grateful to God for that. Um, but yeah, it's really sad that I had to go through what I went through, and I felt alone like I did, but it has made me so strong. It's unbelievable. I have my sad moments, don't get me wrong, but it's taught me a lot about people. It's taught me a lot. People that I have been there for when they were either sick, had deceased loved ones, didn't have no
Mm-hmm.
money, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the case may be. I've been there for everybody. I've been there for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Are those people there for me now? No. Do they call me? No. But it's okay. It's all right. There's some pastors I've done some work for. They still ain't paid me. But you know what? That's okay. Because the old Carla would have been at the church
Yep.
on Sunday waiting like, okay, here go my basket. Y'all put some money in here for me too, because he
Right.
owed me. But
Right.
nope, I let God deal with all that. I let God deal with everybody who has or has not. So caregivers, whoever, the people ain't gonna be there. They phony. They not gonna be there for you. Don't depend on it. Um, I love the church that I grew up in. I love it. And don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to bash no pastors. I ain't trying to do none of that. I ain't trying to do none of that. But the one thing I will say is that I think it's really cold blooded. My mother was in that church for over 50 years. She was the secretary of the Sunday school alone for over 50 years.
Yeah.
The secretary for over 50 years. When my mom was living, did she get a card from the church? Nope. Nope. Did she get a flower from the church? Nope. Sister Jackson came. That was from Sister Jackson. Sister Jackson's like family to us.
Right.
My mother ran that mission. My mother was a church secretary. I mean, the church finance person at one time. She was over that mission for years, in the choir. She gave a lot of her personal money to make sure that church stayed open. When the church didn't have money, she put on teas and fashion shows and raised the money that was needed to pay the what is it, the property tax or
Okay.
how do I know? Because the decoration was still in the closet from when she did the Prodigal Son play back in the 80s. That stuff was still in her closet, decorations that she paid for. And she never said, okay, church, you got to pay me back for she never put in no voucher to get no refund for nothing. But then when she died, you want to send a flower to the church. That pissed me off. I mean, to the funeral home. That pissed me
Yeah.
off. I mean, Sister Susie, I'm grateful for the flower. But if it wasn't for Susie sending that flower, if it would have been somebody else, that flower would have been sitting in the church because we still got the church keys on her key ring. Me and Rhonda had already talked about it, right? Right, Rhonda? You still on here, Rhonda? We talked about it. I was like, I'm going to sit this flower in front of the church because I don't think it's right. Y'all did not send her one flower when she could smell it or see it. But
Right.
then when she passed, you want to send a flower.
And then he showed up to the church. He showed up to the viewing. Pastor sitting in the back,
I'll
look,
get to that in a second. I'll
looking
get to that in a second.
looking like he was at the wrong service.
I'll get to that in a second. But I have 40 minutes worth of audio before my mother stopped talking. She could barely talk. She could barely talk, but I made out what she was saying. She was giving me her instructions, but within that, She was crying about her church. You know that pissed me off because anybody that
Yeah.
knows me, I I'll go gangster for my kids and my mama.
Hmm.
And when I heard that, I wanted to strangle him because she's crying. She's slowly transitioning, but she's telling me a story, and I have it right on my phone right now. I can't play it back yet because it's going to piss me off all over again.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We don't need that.
We don't
But I
need.
have it. I need to send it over to, into a digital file. So I always, that's the last voice I have of my mom. But that hurt me to hear her crying about the church that she loves so much.
Right.
She was a Sunday school teacher. People got to know the Lord. People got to know more about the Lord because of my mother. But then when she get on her sick bed, you and you can't send her communion, but you can put her in the rotation call for please join us on our Zoom for, but you can't call. Can't call. I didn't get that. I didn't get that part. She loved her church. That's all she talked about. Because when she would get mad, I'd be like, "Well, mom, just find a new church." That's my church. You ain't gonna tell me that's my church. I ain't going there. I said, "Okay, then. What's quick and plain? You keep going to your church." You know, you know, even the guy that used to pick her up for church and bring her home, we never heard from him. No more. No more. And he's a chairman of the deacon board. We never heard from him
Ooh,
no more.
that's bad.
That I'm grateful that I have a foundation. I'm grateful that I know the Lord for myself and that I was born and raised in the church and I just love church. Because if I didn't know God and wasn't connected, they always say stay connected to the vine. If I wasn't connected, I'd be like, oh, this is what church is about. I ain't fooling with that. See how they did my mind? I ain't going to no church. But because I'm connected and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and all that type of stuff. And okay, you got to answer to the Lord. My mom used to always say, you go answer to the Lord for yourself. You got to answer to the Lord for yourself.
Yep.
Y'all dogged my mother. That was, man, y'all have no idea how that makes me feel because I saw everything she did for that church. She learned how to use the computer and make her own tickets instead of paying somebody to make the tickets for the teas and all that. She made that stuff for herself. She sold clothes for a bunch of people in the church. She had people here and fed them. I ain't gonna say no names, but she had people in this house and fed them. They didn't come see my mother. She baked cakes for a heck of people. She learned how to do programs like bulletin, like programs. She didn't pay nobody, and she printed them out herself. She would pay money for all this ink because that's how much she loved her church. But then when she was on her sick bed, where was her church? They wasn't there. I'm grateful for all my pastor friends and all my Facebook friends that prayed for me and prayed for my mother. I really do appreciate every last one of you. All my daughters in the comments, she reminded me of my mom wanted to start her own business. It was called Bammy's Designs. She had got her some business cards made called Bammy's Designs, and she would design programs and tickets and all kind of stuff. So she was sharp as a tack, loved her church, loved learning to do new stuff for her church, raise money for the church, all that. But in the end, where was the church when she was on her sick bed? They was nowhere to
Right.
be found.
Right.
And I just when she was crying and saying it, I was like, Mom, it's okay. I'm here. It's okay. Bree's here. We here. It's okay. You know, it's all right. But I mean, it's sad. It's sad. And I'm not gonna throw his name out there or anything like that. But if y'all run fast, just run
Fast.
fast. Run fast. Run fast. That's all I can say is run fast.
Fast.
But yeah, it's sad. It's really, really sad. She gave her all for those people. And yeah, Gloria said, we know who it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so um, family members, when you're caring for your loved ones, if they are a part of a ministry, stay focused on God, stay prayerful. That's all I can tell you. Stay prayerful. Don't look for certain things because it's not. And I learned this because I was, my kids about to laugh. I was a deaconess. I was a deaconess at a church. So I went to visit the sick. You ain't got to laugh. I went to visit the
What
sick.
church was that?
I was, don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm not even going to say. I was a deaconess at a church and I went to visit the stop. I went and visit the sick and shut in, um, because that's what we had to do. That was
Mhm.
our job. Our job was to go visit the sick and shut in because that's what the pastor, that's what he trained us to do. So it's different now. So, I mean, you still have pastors who go and visit sick and shut in. Shout out to the pastors that do that. But to the ones that don't have that luxury,
Right.
um, just stay connected. Stay connected. Stay in your word. You know, the Bible app has those daily readings on there, or you could read some Charles Stanley or something, but stay in the word. Stay prayerful because if you don't, you will uh you will you'll want to strangle somebody, And truth be told, my niece just reminded me that she, I would tell her like, Mom, some your pastor, and she was like, that ain't my pastor. My pastor, Reverend Evans. I was like, no, Mama, Reverend Evans died in 1985. Reverend Evans died in 1985. She's like, he, my pastor did not die in no 1985. Reverend Evans is still. I'm like, no.
Shit, maybe he was. Yeah. Let her Reverend Evans go on where they going. Like, get Reverend Evans, y'all get your ass out of here.
Stop it. Stop it.
I saw Reverend Evans in that damn casket. He gone. He gone on to glory. Don't you let him in this house. Get your ass up out of here.
But yeah, so, just, like I said, y'all, if you are a caregiver or you're caring for your loved one or whatever, first off, pay attention to your loved one. Pay attention to your loved one. Notice the changes in them. Notice the changes in them. I know because of COVID has kept a lot of people from visiting their grandparents and all that. If your grandparents are still living, you are blessed.
Amen.
You're blessed.
Amen.
My grandmother died in 85. My other grandmother, I forgot what year she died, but it was in the 80s as well. You guys are blessed if your grandparents are still here. But the way technology is set up right now, there is no excuse for you not to see them.
Right.
No excuse. No excuse. Order them. If you can't afford an iPad, order them a notepad and ship it to them. Set it up for them, ship it to them so that you can call them and see them. COVID has kept people from seeing their loved ones, because once they get dementia or what, I can only speak on dementia because that's what my mom had. And they forget about you or forget who you are. If you don't know anything about the disease and how it works, it's going to crush you. It's going to crush you when you walk in the room and be like, hey, Mom. And she's like, you black bee, I don't know you. Get out of here, and start swatting at you and stuff. I went through that and I'm here every day. I was here every day with her. And I walk in, hey, Mom, morning time, we cool. I make her breakfast, go back upstairs, come down, it's lunchtime, and she don't know who I am. You got to be ready for that type of stuff. You have to.
Right.
Educate yourself on the diagnosis that's been given. Educate yourself on the medications that they're taking. Educate yourself on the insurance that they have, and then educate yourself and find out if they have life insurance, and
Yeah.
make sure that the policy is still active, and make sure that nobody has cashed in on that policy,
Right.
has taken money from that policy. Because if they're taking money from the policy, then the policy is not as much as you think.
Right.
Got to be careful. You got to be careful. So I hope that, I've helped somebody today. Um, I have my sad moments. So I do post sometimes on Facebook, and sometimes people, they throw a whole bunch of scriptures at me and all that. I'm like, I know what the word says, y'all. I did Bible memory work at First Friendship. Okay, I know what the word says. I know what it say. I appreciate that. I know what it say. Um, so just continue to be kind to people when they're going through, when they lose a loved one. Don't get up at the funeral and say, you call me if you need anything. Because what's going to happen is, y'all, that you going to call them, and guess what? They're going to send you the voicemail. They ain't going to answer. Been there. Been there.
Won't ever
Been
answer.
there. They don't answer. They don't answer. They ain't gonna ask you if you need a case of water.
Mm-mm.
Need a case? You need, can I put a case of water on the porch for you? Mentioning case of water, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done. I thank God, and I don't know if he's watching, but Pastor Henry L. Davis. Pastor Henry L. Davis was my pastor for 10 years. He gonna always be, he always got a special place in my heart. Pastor Henry L. Davis has ensured over this past year that me and my kids have had something to eat every month. He's either sent us gift cards, he's either sent us gift cards or gave us vouchers so that we could go to the grocery store and get some food. Who does that? Henry L. Davis does. He told me he had my
Amen.
back.
Amen.
He's always said, I got your back. And I always tell him, I got yours too, which I do. I do anything he need me to do, media, whatever PD needs me to do. He knows I got him. You want me to come set up what? Oh, okay. All right. Here I come. You need a flyer? Okay, I got you. You know why? Because he looks out for us.
Mm.
I mean, when I tell you it's been a huge blessing, because I don't work. I depend on what I get from Miss C Productions and now Miss C's Blings. That's how I'm living. So when I do work for people and they don't pay me, but anyways, that's another story.
Cheap ass nigga.
This is what I'm this is what I'm doing now, and I'm grateful. I've stepped out on faith. I've stepped out on faith, and I'm trying to do Miss C Productions. Hey Valita, I'm trying to do Miss C Productions and Miss C's Blings. The jewelry is in memory of my mom because she loved her costume jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And um Missy Productions is my media business. That's what I do. That's what I do. So that's all I have right now. So for him to send and do what he does for us without me even ask, he doesn't even know. He has no idea how much of a blessing he's been. Reverend Dwayne Dreer, who's on here, huge blessing to Miss C Productions. Huge blessing to my network. Grateful for you, sir. Appreciate you. I know you didn't want me to say nothing, And then, um, we have which I haven't really talked about. There's a nonprofit organization that has birthed. It's called Twice
Yes.
Love Outreach that I do with
Yes.
Mr. Garrett Alderman and with Bree.
Mm-hmm.
We do Twice the Love Outreach. So thank you, Mr. Garrett Alderman. He's on here as well. I think he's still watching, but we do Twice the Love Outreach. We feed the homeless once a month. We don't have no money, but guess what? We give back
Mm-hmm.
because there's a blessing in being a blessing. And
That's
we ain't
right.
been hungry yet. So, like this past Saturday, we went out and we gave out sandwiches and we gave out lunches. I'll just leave it at that. We gave out lunches and blessed the community and got back home so we could watch the game. Simple, you know. There's a blessing in being a blessing. So through all of this, through all of my grieving process,
Mm-hmm.
I've given back while grieving. Imagine that. I'm giving back while grieving. Y'all just don't know. Y'all see me. I joke around and laugh and all that, but on the inside, I'm crying. Why? Because I miss my mother. I miss her a lot. Y'all, that was my best friend. I could call her about and talk to her about anything. When I
And
started
y'all
missing
did.
questions, when I started
And
missing
y'all did.
she was like, "Oh, good. I'm gonna tell all my friends that you're doing that video stuff, that you on the TV." I was like, "No, mama, I ain't on TV. Tell all my friends you on TV. They gonna be on TV with you." No, no, mom, that's not how it works. But she was my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. And she's not here. She's not here. So I am in my grieving process. I've learned to just give back. Give back. If you come on my jewelry show and shop on Mondays at 7 o'clock p.m., that's a commercial. I give back on Mondays. I be giving away free jewelry all the time because I'm a giver from the heart. I'm always giving. And now I'm giving to the homeless. I give advice to people. I give because I know my return is going to be good from the Lord. Okay? I don't look for my return from man. I look for my return from the Lord.
Now you going to heaven.
Whatever. I
Now,
can't stand
now,
you.
now you done got right with the Lord.
Anyway, so and then lastly, y'all, this is my best friend, Mr. Rasan Bakari Lewis.
Well, thank you, man.
This is my very best friend in the whole wide world. He has been there for me and my children. When I had my stroke, that's who drove me to the hospital.
and,
When I had my
and
surgery,
fought the whole way.
that's who drove me to the hospital.
And got you a sandwich.
When I was in LA at a convention and there was no one to get medication for my mother, that's who got the medication. When I needed somebody to sit with my mom when my niece Kamisha got married, that's who did it.
The
Mr.
bodyguard.
Rastam Bakari Lewis. That's who did it.
The
That is
bodyguard.
that's my best friend. He's always been there for us. When we want Lois the Pie Queen.
60th and Adeline. Lois the
Reggie,
Pie Queen.
Reggie Jackson special and pork chops and all that. Mr. Lewis, what you doing? Can you order it? I'll go pick it up. Sometimes he bring
Yeah.
it to the house.
Yeah.
He just drive it over here. When my mom passed, it was Mr. Lewis, it was Rhonda, and it was Irvy that came to pick her up.
Hey, my man Irvy. Rhonda, tell Irvy I said what's up.
Yep. He show up to our she said he showed up to our fake birthday parties. When I had my 50th birthday party, it was COVID.
Yeah.
It was COVID. So we
Yeah.
set up the tent in the yard. I got dressed up in my red dress. My
Cupcake.
daughter decorated and made it look all nice. And
Cupcake.
Rasan and his son showed up. I just had my 51st birthday. We just did it right here in the living room. I dressed up, even though I wasn't dressed up no more once he got here. But, yeah.
Got a head massage.
Yeah, my grandson was rubbing his bald head because he had never seen a bald-headed man before.
Damn shame.
But
I deserve better.
But I just want to say I thank you. I know you don't like thank yous, so that's why I'm doing it publicly. Don't you click off. You better stay on. Haha. Thank you. We thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you do for our family. Even when my son was in high school, when we transitioned from Alameda to San Francisco, they told my son he had to do Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 at the same time if he wanted to graduate on time. And he did it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He did. No, he did that. I didn't do nothing.
No, you helped him. Even when I worked for Kaiser, when I was working 16-hour days,
yeah, that was fun.
You would go over to my house
fun.
And help your godson out. Even when we went on that family vacation and you came over to feed Stewie.
Hey,
when we
that was
lived
a
in
dog.
Alameda.
Chewy was a dog,
The
man.
only person I trust him with a key. He had a key to my house when I lived in Alameda. I don't know if I give him a key now, but no, I'm just playing. But I'm grateful for Mr. Lewis. Y'all just don't know.
Hey, Kamisha, she gonna give me a key and you fly out here. We're gonna have a party at the house.
And he was also my mama's bodyguard.
That's right.
That was my mama's bodyguard. There's my bodyguard. There's my bodyguard.
She told everybody at that funeral.
Yeah, they got my bodyguard right there. They got my bodyguard right there. I'm like, you gonna get him killed. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, we
My
over here by
bodyguard
the
right
lake.
there.
You can't do that.
They think you
And,
got a gun on you.
and I had that's when I had the Taurus.
Yes,
It
you
already
got
looked like
the
a
narc
police car
car.
with a cloth seat. And then I had suspenders on. They was like, oh damn, I'm finna get killed over here by the lake.
Yep. So, but I'm grateful for you, and thank you guys for joining us tonight. I just wanted to come on, and it's been 1 year. It's been rough, y'all. It's been rough without my girl being here. It's
Right.
it's been rough, but I guess when it slows down for me media wise, I mean it's been kind of slow, but
Not
I
gonna
guess
slow down.
when it completely slows down, I guess that's when I'll grieve. But
It's not. You told me that you were gonna take all of February off. You recorded your mama's viewing, and you was back working like 2 days later.
right, I did record her. I did
You
record.
worked it. You worked it.
I did, and you know how many funerals I've done. See,
Yes.
that's the other thing. I've
Yes.
I've served. I've done so many funerals during COVID because of my. I show it on my network. I've done so many funerals. I've helped so many families, and here I am grieving myself, but I'm helping all these people. Yet sometimes I feel alone, like nobody cares about me. But I know people do.
Yeah.
I know people care about me, but that's just how I feel because I guess it's because the people that I've always been there for, or the people that I've felt that I've been the closest to, I don't hear from them. I don't hear from them. And when I tell you that hurts like hell, it hurts that I don't hear from the people that I've always been there for. I've always been there for certain people. I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. But if they watch and they know who I'm talking to, you just haven't been there, and that's
Right.
that's not right. But like Mama say, you got to answer to the Lord for yourself.
You look
Where
like
they do that
Christine.
at?
Wait, put your glasses on so everybody can see how much you look like Christine.
I don't have them down here. They're connected to my eyeballs. Thank you very much.
Connected to your eyeballs. Hell, you can't see. You need to get a new pair in. I, I ain't saying nothing else. I ain't saying nothing else. Hey, we gotta do one day about the funeral business too. Uh, we gotta do one of these about the funeral business.
Ooh. Yeah, we need to.
And more so we can tell people to get their funeral stuff straight. They funeral. Y'all
Yes.
get your funeral stuff straight.
Get it straight. Get your business straight.
It
Get your
was
business straight. It
it,
don't
it,
cost that much. Get your business straight.
and if y'all speaking of grieving afterward, if y'all there are two people I want to send a shout out to almost a year later. The young lady who had me put her food in the trunk and take it to your house. If I had known your food tasted that good, Carla and them wouldn't have seen that damn food. I'm letting you know that now.
Thank
And
you. Yes, I'm glad you said that. Sister
you shouldn't
Tammy,
have don't trust me with that food no more, girl. Don't do it.
Sister Tammy, thank you. Sister Tammy cooked for us.
Mm.
After the funeral, Roland has cooked so much
Bruh.
food for us. Listen. Roland has been a blessing to us. I mean,
Yes,
like that
no doubt.
food has
I
been
saw
off
him
the hook.
today.
Sister
Saw him
Tammy
today.
cooked for us after the funeral. We had food for a very, very, very long
Yeah, Sister
time.
Tammy, don't do that no more. Don't put no food in my trunk. I promise it's not gonna end up where it's supposed to. It's gonna end up at my house. I don't give a
Thank
damn.
you, Miss Loretta.
I don't give a
Yep.
damn. But I want to thank Bammy for allowing me to be her bodyguard
Yes.
and for sharing you with all of us for 65 years now. It's been a blast. I mean 51. My bad. Same thing. Shit. Anyway, uh, for sharing you all and the kids all these years. I, Bree got the same one. Uh, I love I love Bree. I love my preacher godson Junior. I can hear Bammy laughing now about that. Uh, but no, on a serious note, once again, just keep doing what you're doing. I am literally here for you. All you got to do is call or text. I'll be right there. I don't
All
care
right,
if
I'm
you're in
about to
San
text right
Francisco.
now. We need Lois's.
Hey, hey Corey, open up right quick. I need to run down there and get us some food.
We need a Reggie Jackson special.
But just keep doing what you're doing. Love you to the moon and back.
We love you too.
And, and, and I'm about to say something not bad. I'm about to say something for those of you out there. And if you don't care, if you get offended, I don't care. It's 2 words. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, Niner gang. Bang, bang, Niner
Yeah. And if he's still watching, I do want to send a shout out to my man Perk for taking care of Miss Carla like you have, and my godson, our godson. Uh, love you to death, brother. Anything you need from me, call me. And I mean, anybody that can make you look as good as me on screen, I have to give her credit for her work. It must be great because in person you don't look like me, but on screen you pretty damn bad, brother. So Carla, credit to you in your work.
And Perkins been a blessing too.
Yes, he has.
Pastor A.L. Perkins has sent a lot of people my way. He has been my day one,
Yeah.
my day one on my network. When I first mentioned network to him, nobody else believed in me. Nobody else believed in me in this network stuff. Perkins has been on my network from day one. Day one. Day one. And then I want to give a shout out to the Valentines, Bishop Valentine and Allison Valentine, who got me started with the paparazzi accessories. I really appreciate them. They got me started with Miss C's Blings. Allison Valentine and Bishop Valentine, wonderful people. St. Paul Tabernacle. He's the pastor at St. Paul Tabernacle, San Francisco. Wonderful, wonderful people. Um, there's a ton of pastors who have kept me busy this entire pandemic. This entire pandemic. If y'all give me 2 minutes, I ain't a preacher, but if y'all give me 2 minutes, I made a list. Y'all, and these pastors have kept me
Well,
past.
before you go there, I would love for you to come by my church. You know where I am. You
Anyways, I'm
go
not
over
gonna
good
play
hope.
with you.
Come see me. I'm the Reverend Joe Smith. You come see me.
Stop
I make
it.
sure you have
Stop.
some work done.
Stop.
Praise the
So
Lord.
the pastors and preachers who have been there, who have kept me busy throughout this entire pandemic. Okay, here we go. I'm about to go here. Pastor Elliot T. Ivy Sr., Pastor Henry Davis, Reverend Brooklyn Nelson, Pastor A.L. Perkins, Pastor C.W. Parker, Pastor Greg Hunter, Pastor Jeffrey Williams, Pastor Anthony Braxton and the Mount Zion District Association, Apostle Ross Garrison, Pastor Michael Wallace, Pastor Joseph Bryan, Pastor Marty Peters, Bishop Greg Valentine, Pastor Ty Wheelock, Pastor Joseph Jones, Pastor Todd Battle, Pastor Donnell Thomas, Pastor Larry Bryce, Pastor Fleetwood Irving, Reverend Dwayne Dreer, Reverend Broderick Rice, Bishop Kevin Barnes, Minister Ngay K. Westbrook, Reverend Carl Barnes, Pastor Marlon Henderson, Pastor David Evans, Pastor Timothy Dews, Pastor Emmett Mapp, Pastor Aaron Anderson, Pastor Jermaine Anderson, Elder Durrell Norman, Pastor Keith Williams, Pastor Redmond, Bishop Henderson, Pastor Ambrose Carroll, Pastor Terrence Shepard, Reverend Arnold Townsend, Pastor Easterling, Pastor Ford, Pastor Dexter Jones, Pastor Santos Howard, Pastor Howell, Pastor Adrian Hardiman, Pastor Hillis, Pastor Demetrius Edwards, Pastor Odell Whitfield, Reverend R.L. Terrell, Reverend Kevin Johnson, Pastor Deborah Henderson, Pastor Eason, Minister Eric Davis, and Reverend Timothy Webster. Just to name a few. Those guys have utilized my services since the pandemic started. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but that's the list that I have that I could remember who I've done services for. Stuff for. And there's a couple of pastors out of Dallas that I've done stuff for, but I just can't remember their names. But yeah, so these guys have kept me busy while I'm grieving. I'm working while I'm grieving.
Well, Miss Carla, maybe in 6 months or a year, maybe we should make this a yearly thing, and or every couple of months we'll do it and see how everything is going. Keep putting you out there, and we need to, like I said, we need to do one about the funeral business.
We do,
and I mean,
and
we can
bring
share some laughs. Yes, and share some laughs, but at the same time,
and Miller.
Yes, let people know the importance of the importance of making sure that your stuff is in order.
The conversation, I'm telling you.
The conversation, incarceration. And thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. I greatly appreciate it, as I know Miss Carla does. Rest in peace, Bammy. I'll see your obituary when I go in my room, when I get home, because I'm on MacArthur at y'all know where I am. Shut up. When I get home. So.
Yep, Perk is gonna be called The Conversation. Yep.
Let's do it
tonight. The Conversation.
Let's do it next week.
What?
Let's do it next week. But any last words, Miss Carla?
Just wanted once again thank you guys for joining me tonight. Keep praying for me. Keep praying for me. I stay busy, but when I'm not busy, my mind, sometimes I cry, in the shower and while I'm driving, or just, Pastor Ivy has a habit of singing some of my mom's old songs. So my mom loved to sing. And sometimes he just don't know. I be want to just flip the whole little desk over when he's singing. I'm like, oh, I got to keep it together. I'm behind the camera. Even Pastor Perk, sometimes when I used to pre-record, I'm like, don't sing that song no more. My mom used to sing that song, almost flip the table over. But, thank you guys for praying for me and praying for my family. Appreciate every last one of you guys. Some people just say kind words, and I appreciate that. You don't have to send me no money. I'm not looking for nobody to send me no money or anything like that, but okay, Brooke, I see you got jokes calling me a middle linebacker. I see you.
Dirty game.
Yes, I appreciate Pastor. I think I did say Pastor Whitfield and Sister Whitfield for allowing me to assist them with several projects and everything as well. But y'all keep praying for me, and I'm praying that I could do this entrepreneur. My favorite scripture is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm walking on
maybe
faith.
These pastors need to put that on their flyers, since they know that one and they can't. It's hard to misspell. Well, they might. Well, no, hey, it's Philippians, not Phillips. I done seen some of that on there. It's Philippians, not Phillips. Maybe y'all need to take a reading class in addition to the Bible scholar or whatever y'all doing. Damn shame. Y'all misspelling words of the Bible.
We're going to pray for Brother Lewis that, he's a member of a church, and
Shiloh Baptist Church.
We're going to pray. We're going to pray that he gets a little bit closer to the Lord so that he won't become incarcerated.
No, I'm gonna get close to the Lord, but I'm gonna know how to spell my way into heaven too.
Oh my God!
How about that? How about that? Learn to spell. Learn to spell the books of the Bible. Learn to say words correctly. Okay, some of y'all I work with, and use the right font. Just use the right font. And stop putting pictures on there from 1987 and all that. Y'all do better. Do better. Do better. Do better. Some of y'all spell like y'all preach. That's why ain't nobody in your church, because they can't understand it.
I'm praying that the Lord will just give you a little tent in the kingdom. Just I'm praying for you. I'm praying that you get in there. Just give you a little tent. And I hope you make it behind the gate.
I didn't buried enough people to where I probably have to drive the hearse in. So I'm on. If I don't get to stay in there, I at least get to drive in and get a look at it.
You get on my nerve.
Rhonda, you do EDRS, I'll drive the hearse. We'll start a funeral home in heaven. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. But brothers and sisters, again, I want to thank you for giving us this time to remember Bammy, and hopefully some of you learned about Carla. And in the words of Jerry Springer, until next time, take care of yourself and each other.